I'm Mark Ince, I'm leader of the Shaw Crompton Town Council, and one of the issues we've currently been dealing with, in my view, is a social injustice regarding a housing association called Places for People. It affects a number of properties, particularly in the Wren's Nest area, where the housing association has decided to put people's rents up by 40%. And how they're doing that, they're all of a sudden claiming they are now private landlords. But unfortunately, they didn't realise both the strength of community spirit and the amount of people who've come to our aid. So I'm with Sarah, who's a nominated spokesperson and representative for the residents. You're affected yourself, aren't you, Sarah?
Yeah.
Do you just want to give us a brief overview of how long you've lived there and how this came as a shock to you?
Yeah, so I've lived there since about 2013, transferring from another property theirs, which was the Housing Association in Ashton, which was also social housing, or I was led to believe it was social housing, with me having an assured tenancy. And then we got a rent increase letter through the post about 6 weeks ago, informing us that they wanted to put our rents up at 20% this time, and then 20% again and again to bring it in line with market rent value, which obviously then rang alarm bells, because I know that we're not market rent value properties because we're social, affordable housing, so therefore we're not in the private sector.
A lot of the people who were affected are obviously elderly and vulnerable, and are obviously dependent on benefits.
Yeah.
So such a rent increase will have serious implications for them, which could effectively mean homelessness.
Yeah, so what that means is, as a social tenant, people would claim housing benefit, which would cover the full rent for the property. However, if they're now saying that we're private tenants, they'll only pay the local housing allowance rate. So for some people who've been there since 1992, all their lives, who are elderly or disabled or on their own and under occupying now, they'll only get paid £472 a month towards the rent. So they're wanting at the minute £800 and odd, so that's like £400 and odd shortfall in the rent. And once they go up to about £1,100 a month, which is what they want to bring them in line with, they're going to force a lot of people into homelessness. And there's no housing as it is at the moment anyway.
Obviously, a priority for the Town Council is to become a community hub where we can support residents and bring stakeholders together. And obviously, with Sarah bringing the tenants together, we've also brought together many stakeholders. This includes Ben, who's from Greater Manchester Tenancy Union. Is that
Greater Manchester Tenants Union?
Yeah. So what's your take on it, Ben?
Well, I think it's just an injustice where what we've got, unfortunately, in this country now is an increasing watering down of social housing, the idea of social housing. So we used to have, obviously, a lot of council housing and social housing. And what they're doing, it's like they're privatising these homes by stealth. People who've lived there for decades understood themselves to be social tenants. They've got social tenancies. They've bid through a points system to get their homes, and now they're threatening to jack people's rents up, and it's absolutely disgraceful. But this is what happens when you bring like the market mechanisms into social housing, increasing privatisation and driven by profit of these housing organisations. That's bound to lead to this kind of thing happening. So the government needs to take action. They need to make clear that these organisations are about delivering homes for social need, which is what social housing and council housing is for, not for making profits and not for trying to squeeze tenants for extra money just because they think they can get away with it. We're not going to let them get away with it, and I'm sure local residents are going to fight this all the way.
So it's places for people, not places for profit.
Exactly.
So Ben, obviously you brought shelter and some legal advice. Our relationship as a town council with Oldham Council has got them on board, and through them we're getting other local authorities on board, and we've also brought media attention.
Yeah, we've also got Stuart Hodgkinson on board, who is a professor in social housing from Leeds.
Yeah.
Obviously shelter, law centre, and then obviously different
organisations. So again, this is a great example of bringing the community together and bringing them stakeholders in and we can act collectively to fight this. And I just want to say thanks for your time. This is another day, another meeting. We're going to be holding several here till we see this through. And as a town council, we fully support all residents involved in this matter. And we ask if there's anybody who's watching this video who's affected by places for people and their management company Touchstones, please get in touch with us directly, and we'll do all we can to help you. Thanks for your time. Cheers. Take care.